What's up, everybody? You're back in here with the Pro Football Pod. You've got Hulk, you've got Coach. We're hanging out with you. Jacksonville Jaguars, the time is now. It is for you. Your quarterback just got paid. We've got the offseason preview series rolling on here for you. Hit that subscribe button down below because once we hit 500, we're giving away one jersey to one of you lucky viewers of your choice. I would love for it to be a Jacksonville Jaguars jersey. You know, one of you lucky fans might do it. I would love for that. Coach, wouldn't you love to send a jersey down to Duval?
Just don't get a Trevor Lawrence fan.
Duval. He just got paid. If anything, it is the time to get one because you're good for at least 4 or 5 years.
I don't know, man. Did you see that thing on Twitter on Trevor Lawrence versus Daniel Jones and Mac Jones?
I've seen it and Gardner Minshew.
Oh, I saw the Gardner Minshew, and it was really, really close. But Mac Jones had categories that he was better in, accuracy and I don't know.
Now, I will say, going back and watching a lot of the games that Trevor Lawrence had last year, there was a lot of throws that Trevor Lawrence made that his receivers just simply did not come up with.
Yeah.
Whether it was a matter of miscommunication being his first season with Calvin Ridley, whatever it was, there was so many miscues from the wide receiver position that did not help him out at all. Now, with that being said, in no way has Trevor Lawrence lived up to the Ronnie Bass Sunshine sent from heaven quarterback that we've been talking about since he was in high school. Exactly. And in no way has he lived up to that. And I think he'll be the first to tell you he hasn't.
I mean, right now, he's not even the best quarterback in his division.
Then again, when somebody's being held up here.
Yeah, on the pedestal.
Do you know how hard it is for somebody to actually live up to that? Andrew Luck started to, and bro just dipped out of the league.
Yeah.
The quarterback position is very hard, and he has, there's no denying watching him. He has the talent. Watching him throw the ball is a thing of beauty. It is a rubber band that way it just snaps off his wrist.
Yeah.
But there are questions that do need to be answered, especially now that he got paid.
Yep. And that's the hard part for me is that it's going to be super difficult in the future to bring in talent because of how much they just paid their quarterback. I think that CJ Stroud is a much better quarterback than him in his leadership and the way he runs his team and just his I have to win this game mentality whenever it comes to the fourth quarter. Trevor Lawrence, it doesn't seem like he gives up because the guy played hurt last year, and honestly, all the credit to him for playing injured and sticking with it. I think that the Jags maybe should think about getting one of those carts that you can take players off of the field so that if your player gets hurt, he doesn't have to hobble into the locker room. I mean, I'm just saying, billion-dollar franchise, maybe they should think about it.
Maybe think about it a little bit. So they added Gabe Davis at wide receiver as well as Devin Duvernay, who is wide receiver, mostly kind of kick return value, especially with the new rules that are being implemented.
Yep.
Brought in Darnell Savage at safety, which I do like that move. Lost Calvin Ridley Jr.,
which is fine. They didn't honestly need him.
Too many moves. For the most part, Jags are kind of running it back. I get why. Second year with Doug Peterson as head coach. Let's see what we've got. Drafted Brian Thomas Jr. at wide receiver, which we love that pick. That was a pick that kind of shocked a lot of people. The fact that they moved up to get him.
Yeah.
Mason Smith, the defensive tackle, as well as Jordan Jefferson, the defensive tackle.
Who we
both
also
LSU
really liked.
guys who we mocked constantly to all kinds of teams in our mock drafts over the offseason. And Jarrian Jones at corner from FSU. So I like what they did as far as adding pieces to the positions that needed to be upgraded.
Yep.
Now, we've mentioned in the last couple episodes, go back and watch those, how this division in general has just gotten better. And so looking at that and breaking into these ADPs now, let's go ahead and just touch with the guy who just got paid. You got Trevor Lawrence going in the 10th round, number 16th quarterback overall. If I'm waiting on a quarterback, I'm okay with Trevor Lawrence being one of my guys. Now, you're obviously going to have to see how he meshes with Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. They also, I believe, didn't they lose Zay Jones this offseason as well?
I think
I believe
so.
yeah. Now, Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram and Travis Etienne all still being there still gives me confidence in Trevor Lawrence having some fantasy viability going forward.
I think from a fantasy perspective, he had some games that were disappointing last year, but most of them I want to say happened after injury. Like points wise, 18 points, 9 points, 15, 16, 15, 15, 18, 15, 4 versus San Fran, and then 32, 25, 25, 20, 14, and 11, and then 18 to finish the season. He only had really 2 games that he wasn't startable for all season. He only had 4 games that were over 20 points. And that's a bit of an issue, but if you're getting him so late and if you're already able to take another quarterback before him, I don't know. Like, I think that Tua is somebody I would take before Trevor Lawrence. Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, all these guys are a couple rounds before him. But the guys that are after Trevor Lawrence have a lot of question marks to me.
It's a drop off.
Except for maybe Matt Stafford and Aaron Rodgers. Those are the only 2 that are like, they don't have some huge question mark behind them.
And they're down that low because they're 38-year-old quarterbacks coming off of injuries. Yeah. Like, that's why. So now Travis Etienne going in the second round, number 8 running back overall. Fully understand that. I feel like he's accurately valued. He gives you value in the passing game. Doesn't really have anybody to steal touches or, touchdowns from him in the backfield there. These wide receivers, Christian Kirk in the 5th or 6th round, Brian Thomas Jr. in the 9th or 10th, and Gabe Davis in the 13th. To me, even though he's the highest rated one, Christian Kirk's value to me is great.
Absolutely.
Like, we've seen how much Trevor Lawrence loves Christian Kirk and how much he leans on him. I'm absolutely looking at Christian Kirk in the 5th or 6th round, even being my wide receiver 2 or my top end flex at that point.
Keenan Allen, Tank Dell, T. Higgins, and Terry Mack are all getting taken before Christian Kirk. I think Christian Kirk gets a higher target share than every single one of those players. I want Zay Flowers and George Pickens before Christian Kirk, but that's kind of like the end of my tier, and Christian Kirk's the beginning of my tier. I don't think that taking a wide receiver 2 like Higgins is going to be better than taking a Christian Kirk. I don't think that Brian Thomas is going to push him for targets whenever Calvin Ridley didn't. Christian Kirk had...
But when you look at the guys behind him, too, you've got Terry Mack, Chris Godwin, Jaden Reed, Calvin Ridley, Hollywood Brown, DeAndre Hopkins. Like, I 100% am taking Christian Kirk before I let myself pass on him and settle for one of those guys.
Exactly. And for it to be in the 6th round, that means that I already have 3 wide receivers. In most of all my strategies, I already have 3 wide receivers, and I'm taking Christian Kirk as a safety blanket for one of my wide receivers getting hurt, or he potentially just explodes in value like we expect.
Absolute trade value to rob somebody because they waited on wide receiver, and oh shit, Christian Kirk's putting up wide receiver 1 value, but you can't start him because your roster's already stacked. Like, yeah, that I 100% he is way too low. Kind of shocking for me. I mean, I understand the guys above him to an extent, but you're taking Christian Kirk in the 5th round or Malik Neighbors in the 3rd or 4th. Absolutely fucking not. Like, absolutely not. I am not taking Malik Neighbors in the 4th with Daniel Jones when I can get Christian Kirk 1 to 2 rounds later. No, there's no way.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't trade me Malik Neighbors for Christian Kirk. I wouldn't do the trade. Like, so that Christian Kirk has insane value, as well as Evan Ingram, tight end number 8, number 72 overall. So going in about the 7th round for you. Evan Ingram Kyle Pitts, Evan Ingram, Dalton Kincaid, like that's the area where I kind of start looking for tight ends. And Evan Ingram is absolutely one that I am targeting this year. The guy finished last year with 143 targets, 114 receptions, under 1,000 yards, but that's going to happen when you average 8.4 yards of reception and 4 touchdowns. So the yards and the touchdowns you definitely want to see go up.
Yep.
But in a PPR and a half PPR, when this guy's getting you no less than 6 targets a game, he posted one game with less than six targets, and that was week one at Indy, when he had five targets and caught all 5 balls.
Yep. I think that he underperformed last year from where people were overdrafting him, because he was getting drafted in the 4th, 5th, 6th round a lot last year. I don't think that at least the people that overdrafted him last year, aren't going to this year. He's easily my target. If you watch the Houston Texans video, I said that I'm targeting CJ Stroud in the 4th round. I'm hoping that I can get one running back after CJ Stroud, and then I can take Evan Ingram in the 7th or the end of the 6th, and then I can just start filling in with absolute value picks for the rest of the draft, because I know that I have a stud at tight end, I have a stud at quarterback, and I'll have 3 stud wide receivers.
Evan Ingram had 7 or more receptions or targets in 13 games last year. He had 8 or more targets in 10 games last year.
He's a wide receiver playing tight end. He's one of the few.
Absolutely. And they use him that way. They target him that way. Like, I am all in on the Evan Ingram train this year. Like, where you mentioned in past episodes, you're targeting the Mark Andrews in the 4th, 5th round. I'm definitely looking at Evan Ingram in the 7th if I don't go ahead and take Kincaid in the 5th. Like, that's 100% one of the guys I'm targeting this year. Go ahead and forget that by the time we do our, dynasty draft later in the season.
Hey, it's okay, man. It's okay. We'll always compete.
Jags win total sitting at 8.5 on the sports books, over under. They went 9-8 in 2023 last year. What are we thinking for them this year in the year 2 of the Doug Peterson regime?
I think that this is the second best team in the division. The Colts are definitely nipping at their heels, but with Anthony Richardson getting hurt and being taken out for the whole year, I think that the only team for them to really have to worry about is the Texans. They do have a very hard schedule, just like the Texans do, because they have to play the AFC East. They're going to have to play a lot of very high-end talent, but if Trevor Lawrence stays healthy, then they easily win 9 games. They won 9 games last year, and he was hobbling around on. I'm going the over
as well. Like, just blazing through their schedule, I can easily find 7 wins.
Yeah.
And it's the NFL, so that tells me they can probably steal a couple more, which is going to push them on that over. I think they can go 9-8 as well, even if they are the second best team in the division this year. How they finish, I think that's probably the range for them. So I feel better about the over there than I did about going with the Titans over that we did earlier, because that one was sketchy. So, hey, Duval, if you're still here with us, go ahead and hit that subscribe down below. Notification bell's up there in that corner. 500 subscribers, giving away a free jersey to one of you lucky people. Tell your homies, tell your viewers, tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody. We love you guys. TulsiRoseTea.com is that sponsor for all your tea needs. They'll ship it to you. Peace out.